I'm ill, but Muzz is a sick player. Not only that, he's an extremely mechanical player, yet in his fighting style, he doesn't actually utilize this because it's not required in game. This means that the fighting style that he has is very applicable to a wide variety of people. So let's dive into some of the smaller things that he does and that you can utilize in your own game. Now this first clip looks very simple, but it's going to set up a ton of the different things we're going to see throughout the remainder of the video with some more kind of complicated examples later on. Firstly, he starts this fight with a bit of damage off. Anytime you're going to take in an earlier mid-game fight, just getting a small advantage like this is always fundamental in trying to make them play defensive so that then you can go on the aggressive side. Then once you've got that damage, to ensure that they play defensive, you instantly build up onto high ground like Muzz does here. This basically ensures that they box up, try to heal, then you can go wall to wall with them. From then on out, Muzz is in his element because wall to wall is where he's really strong. But notice as he's dropping down, he swings his pickaxe and hits the wall as he's dropping. This small efficiency of wall taking really cuts down the opportunity of windows that the opponent has to make a play on you. Notice that he's also standing on a cone because this means that the opponent can't just walk out and fully ramp over him and box him up from here on out. So now while he's on the wall, it's already one hit to a pickaxe and he's got some damage off. Now he can just play around the wall taking with some nice edits. So he takes the wall and instantly edits a peanut butter and slides a cone in. Now, very basic mechanics, but what's important is the speed and efficiency that he does this in. He manages to take the wall, put the cone in the box, get a shot off and reset and hold the wall before the opponent has even taken out his shotgun yet. What we're going to see about Muzz in particular is that his efficiency of the basic things like this is what truly sets him apart from a lot of the other players. He then waits for the opponent to break the wall one time with his AR because he knows he's going to take out his shotgun here, doesn't edit and picks up a very easy elimination from here on out. Now the reason these fundamentals are so important is because in an endgame situation like this, you can see that Muzz applies all of these where he gets a large damage shot cracking the opponent and now he knows that he's weak. So while dropping down onto his wall, he uses his burst AR to weaken and then take the wall as he's falling, edit and instantly slide a cone in before the opponent has even taken out his shotgun, ultimately netting him that elimination. Taking walls and sliding cones in is something that a lot of people do not put into their warm-up and practice routines, but it has to be second nature. The last thing you want is to successfully take a wall, mess up the edit, and they get a ramp in their box and you can't hit a shot. So 3 really basic principles that when mastered can finish fights so quickly for you. So this next fight is a long drawn out fight and there's a lot of really nice micro things that he does which will emphasize why I talked about him being so good wall to wall. As always, the fight starts with an attempted spray and then a climb to height, very similar to the previous fight. From then on, he has basically no information on his opponent, so here he swings the pickaxe once and plays pumps out because he can't even see the opponent, so he can't necessarily track him, so he doesn't want to make a risky play. After assessing the situation and knowing he's no longer in that box, he still takes the wall and slides the cone in and places one for him to land on too, then yet again, just plays pumps out, just waiting, and this nets him a good shot off on his opponent. He does this exact same thing later. Notice he doesn't have any awareness, so he goes to the pickaxe but switches instantly back to his pumped shotgun before then placing a cone on a wall to protect himself from any attacks. Then when he double pickaxes this wall, instantly when he edits it, he's got the shotgun out and look at the movement, swings to the left to ensure that he can't get edited on, and he's just sitting there with the pump open and does the exact same thing again, hits the shot and resets the wall. So just in these 2 small interactions alone, he's ensured that he didn't take any damage back and that he always had an opportunity to give damage back to his opponent by playing pumps out and predicting his movements. So this fight drags on quite a long time, and as soon as he hears a third party approaching, he instantly changes his playstyle to be way more defensive. He fully boxes up, creating a ton of space, but doesn't just sit there and assess the situation. He still becomes aggressive onto the wall, the player that he was originally fighting, just now protected. From then on, every action that he does fighting the original player, he ensures he has coverage of some form of build to ensure that third party doesn't hit him and instead is focused on the player that he's trying to fight. Now, unfortunately, Muzz doesn't actually get this first elimination that he was chasing down despite this really long fight, but he doesn't take any damage back from the third party. This now means he's got a new target to engage in, which was the player who third partied. And this is where we see that awareness again. He has a left-hand peek, no understanding really what the player does, and you see the shot come off there, so he whipped back from the corner, retakes the wall when he can, and then slows down and goes for a window edit, right? He's not just jumping into this box when he has no understanding. He takes his time, takes the pieces that he needs to, and doesn't take any unnecessary risks. Now you can see that player is obviously going to ramp flip here while he's trying to take it, and rather than just letting that 50-50 the window go, he resets and blocks the shot, opens this edit up and hits the first shot. Now only 87 unfortunately, then creates more space with a ramp in between, goes for the second shot and hits another 87 tag here, then gets out, then manages to clean up the elimination very easily. Repeatedly in this fight, Muzz showed that he was not going to take risks, and when he had minimal information, he always had his pump out just in case the opponent made an edit. Now, a lot of the examples I use in this series are aggressive examples on what to do when you're the one who has the advantage, but let's take an example of what to do when you're the one that's been tagged up a bunch and you're at a disadvantage HP-wise. The first thing that he does is always ensure there's 2 layers of builds between him. Something very simple, but the way you can play around this is very interesting. Notice here how there's a wall and a ramp with a wall open behind him, and when the player runs into his box, he can go for that pre-fire shot and then jump back and reset the wall and then create another 2 layers between him. So just in case that opponent grabs the wall from him, he still has another build piece that he can use to get away. You can see how this becomes important later when there's a wall and a floor in front of this player, and Muzz can then edit him through as that wall breaks, hitting a shot onto him and then placing a wall in between him to protect himself. So as the far away piece breaks, Muzz edits or opens up one of the ones that's closest to him and then takes the shot, because the opponent will not have his shotgun out at this moment. And you can really see how this ends up actually working out for him when he wins the fight, because he does the exact same thing on a double wall. He has 2 layers of wall between him and he sees the opponent breaking a wall, and as that wall breaks, he edits the one closest to him and hits the shot before the other player can even do anything. And if you remember back to one of the examples earlier on, remember when Muzz was in the aggressive situation here, what he did was when he was breaking that second wall, he understood that this could happen and swung to the left to ensure the opponent did not have an angle on him. Now, this strategy relies on one very, very important mechanic, and that is the efficiency of your edits. If you watch any of Muzz's clips, you'll notice that his edits are very fast. Now, I don't mean that he's really good at chaining and his mechanics are good, which they are, but not relevant for this. It's just that editing walls and single build tiles is very, very efficient. Now, a way you can really improve this is by using one of Raider 464's maps, which I've got coded on screen here, and this has 2 really good drills on it that I actually think are really worth practicing. The first is this 4 drill. Your goal here is that as soon as you click that edit button, you select the tile as well. You want there to be minimal time between. Now, the timing of this will obviously depend on your ping, but if you're on very, very low ping, you should be clicking it and then instantly selecting this tile. Now, you can do a bunch of these warming up. Once you've done that, you move over to the next drill, which is this wall edits, and it actually shows you exactly which edits you should do here using the little red circle or red marker that's depending on which tile it is, and you need to have the smallest crosshair placement possible, so as close to the edges of tiles as possible, and doing the exact same thing you did before, that you want all of these tiles to be instantly selected while you do this. If you practice this drill every day, your single edits will become significantly faster, which will allow you more time to have your pump out and hit good shots. If you're looking for further resources to help you improve, head over to gameplan.com/Reisshub, where you can get full access to my constantly updated masterclass for just a one-time purchase of 20 Great British pounds. This covers nearly every topic of how to play competitive games in the early, mid, and end game. And of course, hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a lot. Peace.